You are listening from Lee Swift Book.
Welcome back to Lee Swift Book, the sanctuary for every soul longing to grow, evolve, and rise through the power of books. We've explored so many life philosophies together, and this week, we're diving into another towering masterpiece of world literature. Today, I want to talk about The Old Man and the Sea, the very work that earned Ernest Hemingway the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. And here is my bold statement, the very theme of this video. If you're exhausted, discouraged, or constantly complaining about how hard your job feels right now, this timeless classic is exactly the remedy you need. At first glance, the story seems simple. An old fisherman endures 84 days of failure, yet refuses to give up. He sets out one more time. And after 3 relentless days and nights battling the sea, he finally catches the greatest marlin of his life. A triumph of epic scale. But here's the tragedy. On his way back to shore, sharks attack and strip the marlin down to nothing, leaving behind only a stark white skeleton. Fishing is Santiago's only way of surviving. So when you look at that final, haunting image, you can't help but wonder, does extraordinary effort still matter when the world seems to take everything away? This is the very question that every one of us, especially those pouring our hearts into our careers yet constantly running into failure, desperately needs to explore. So let's look deeper. Why is Santiago's perseverance the perfect antidote to our habit of complaining about work? And what truth was Hemingway trying to whisper into the ears of people like us, the ones still struggling, still fighting, still trying? Santiago, the thin, weathered fisherman from Cuba, had endured 84 long days without catching a single fish. The entire village looked at him with quiet contempt. To them, he was cursed, a man of bad luck. Young fishermen mocked him, and even those who meant no harm still looked at him with a kind of pity that stings more than any insult. And yet, here's the astonishing part. None of that ever broke him. At dawn each morning, he still pushed his boat toward the open sea with an unshakable belief that today he would return with a catch. Have you ever felt like Santiago yourself? You work non-stop, sharpening your skills, giving your all, and yet everything feels stuck. Nothing moves, nothing changes. And for many of us, when things don't go as expected, the most instinctive response is, forget it, I'll quit. I'll find something easier. But here's the hard truth. Switching jobs doesn't magically fix the root of the struggle. Sometimes it simply resets the same lesson you've been trying to avoid. We need to understand this. Every career, every dream, every ambition is like climbing a mountain. And if right now you feel like you're standing at the very bottom, that's not a curse. It's an advantage. Because from the lowest point, every direction you move is upward. Those days when you sweat, grind, and push forward but see no results. They are not wasted days. They are the days when your roots deepen, when the seed of your future quietly gathers strength underground. So don't dismiss yourself just because your success is taking its time. Do what you can, as best as you can, with what you have in this very moment. That's how foundations are built. Silently, patiently, faithfully. At last, on the 85th day, Santiago's persistence was finally rewarded. He hooked a magnificent marlin, a creature so powerful it felt almost mythical. But that wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a life-and-death struggle. The great fish dragged his small boat across the open sea for more than a day and a half. The difference in strength was brutal. The old man's hands bled as the fishing line carved into his skin. His fingers cramped, his arms trembled, his entire body throbbed with pain. He was battered, exhausted, worn to the bone. And yet, he never surrendered. That is the truest image of what it means to wait for a delayed success. You've stayed up all night to finish a project, only to have your boss tell you the plan still isn't good enough. You negotiate a deal, think you're just one step away. Then the client suddenly chooses your competitor. Moments like these feel exactly like being dragged across the sea by a giant fish, painful, humiliating, completely out of your control. But as the writer Lu Tong once pointed out, it was precisely during the hardest periods, when his bosses doubted him, criticized him, even dismissed his abilities, that he grew the fastest. We often dislike strict managers or demanding clients. But remember this: they are often the hidden benefactors in our lives. They push us out of our comfort zones, force us to stretch beyond what we thought we could do, and drive us toward mastery. If your boss scolds you often, it might actually be a good sign. Your mission is simple. Keep giving your best, even when the results are delayed. Success has its own rhythm. It arrives quietly, but only to those who stay long enough on the battlefield. After hours of fierce struggle, Santiago finally defeated the great marlin. But the joy of victory barely had time to bloom before disaster arrived. Sharks, drawn by the scent of blood, appeared and attacked. Despite his final stand, fighting with every last ounce of strength he had, all he brought back to shore was a bare, bleached skeleton. 3 days and nights of sweat, pain, hunger, and courage, wiped out in a moment, as if it had never mattered at all. It's cruel, isn't it? Even with extraordinary effort, he returned empty-handed, forced to endure the quiet mockery of those around him. And this reveals one of life's harshest truths. Hard work does not always guarantee success or reward. I have a friend who works in IT research. He spent 3 years building a brilliant software product, working with almost military discipline. But when it hit the market, it failed miserably. When faced with this kind of helplessness, some people step back, complain, or disappear into self-pity. But my friend reminded me of something an economics professor once said. Every time we succeed, our IQ drops a little, but every time we fail, it rises. Failure, after all, is not the enemy. Repeating the same mistake twice, that is what we should truly fear. Human beings must learn how to walk, and also how to fall. Because only after you fall do you discover how to stand again, stronger, steadier, and wiser than before. True strength isn't defined by someone who never falls. It belongs to the person who rises again, wiser, steadier, and transformed by their own failures. Life is full of hardship and uncertainty. And when you step into the storms of your career, please don't choose the easy path of giving up. Hold on to that fierce, unbroken spirit, the same spirit that carried old Santiago across the endless sea. Remember this: perseverance doesn't guarantee immediate success. But without perseverance, failure is guaranteed. Let us recall the words spoken at the Nobel ceremony for this very work. People should remember that the brave are tested and tempered in many different ways, not so they may complain about the era they live in, but so they may face this cruel, indifferent world with courage. Let the old man and the sea be the lighthouse that guides you through your darkest nights, the story that helps you gather every complaint, every frustration, and forge them into a sharp spear of determination. Because if you stay ready, if you stay willing, you will catch the great fish of your life. Thank you sincerely for listening.